Do you know why the majority of people go into a retirement home?
Why?
They can't stand up off a toilet.
Hey guys, and welcome back to It's Pretty Simple. Today on the podcast, I have a very, very special guest.
Very special.
Very.
In what way am I very special?
Well, for one, this guy is, well, precisely, probably should say your name.
Yeah, sure.
Stacey Quick. Does he look like a Stacey?
Do I look like I'm quick?
Maybe. So Stacey is a personal trainer and also a nutritionist, and he was actually my first ever online trainer.
I was her first.
He was my first. Yes, he was. He was my first ever online trainer before I went fully into fitness, and he's also the reason why I moved to Spain.
Yay.
Wow.
Cool.
Now everyone thinks we're together.
Well, as they should. We kind of are in some ways. We're linked, aren't we?
We are.
Through a passion of riding bicycles.
We like to write. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, tell them, because I know everything.
Okay, you know everything.
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 Even my last name.
I do.
Whether or not that applies. Stacey Quick, as you said, I'm an online fitness coach. I also run a online meal planning app called Hit My Macros. Been living in Spain for 15 years? No, not 15 years, maybe 12 years. And we met when I was doing a stint in the Philippines. We met online, as most
people do.
People
didn't back then.
People didn't back then.
No, but we did.
We did. You popped out to visit when I moved back to Spain, and I think within a matter of hours convinced you to move here.
Yeah.
So.
And then 2 years later, I moved here.
You did. How long have you been here now?
3 years.
Boom. How's your Spanish? Hablamos.
Un poco.
Un poco.
Un poco.
Está bien.
I survive.
Yeah, exactly. No, I heard it the other night. You're getting good.
Yeah.
Had a great conversation for hours, didn't you?
When?
In that bar.
Yeah.
That place.
Yeah.
Resto.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think my Spanish got a little bit better since then.
Oh, that's good.
I think.
Nice.
Now I'm doing a course in Spanish, which I'm struggling with.
Okay. Well, at least you're studying, practicing.
Trying.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
On
So,
this podcast.
you mentioned you have an app. Right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more.
It's a progressive web app, but an app functions like an app. It is a meal planning app in which you go on and fill out your details, your activity levels, your goals, your age, height, that kind of thing. And then it uses this data to create a meal plan specifically for you and your goals and your calories and your macros. And it allows you to have cheeky treats as well. That's what kind of makes us unique. We have to understand that life's not all about diets and fixed meal plans. So you would add your own cheeky treats. For example, I would add 3 or 4 beers in a week, some ice cream and some pizza. And it would take that into account and build a meal plan that allows me to have those cheeky treats as well as make my progress and lose weight, gain weight, whatever your goals are. There's about 5,000 or 6,000 recipes, but there's also a workout planning side too. So those who sign up will have full access to our workout database, as well as countless meals. And so far it's been really successful with people.
Well, I use it as well for myself, but mostly for my clients who are confused and need meal plans.
Yeah.
Since I'm not a dietitian, I don't really provide meal plans, so I found that Hit My Macros really helps because you can generate for so many different things, and you can also like take off things that people don't like, and I think it's super helpful.
Choose how many meals you want a day, get your grocery lists. For me, it helps me save a ton of money. Because if I have my grocery list for the week, I know exactly what I need to buy. There's no spontaneous splurge buying in the supermarket where the dollars just rack up. And then I end up wasting a bunch of stuff anyway because I have to throw it out.
Yeah.
So at least I get to the end of the week with a completely empty fridge. Super refreshing.
Nice.
And I feel good. So, yeah, that's it.
Nice. Well, okay. This your Hit My Macros app. Let's go into a little bit more details about the type of diet that you have in it. So you're going with a Mediterranean diet here.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
We live in Spain.
Yep.
We pretty much follow a Mediterranean diet even when we go out and just live life. So what makes the Mediterranean diet unique or good?
There's a couple of things. So most of the world has access to the ingredients that are included in a Mediterranean diet, especially the Western world. Even when I was living in Asia, I could find plenty of at least alternatives that kind of match the Mediterranean diet. It's super delicious. That's the second thing as well. We want food that's super tasty, and you've got Italian food, French food, Spanish food, Greek food. It's super delicious. And the third thing is it's probably the healthiest diet in the world. The life expectancy in Mediterranean countries is extremely high, and plenty of studies will put that down to not only the lifestyle, but also the diet. Those who strictly follow a Mediterranean diet, which is high in protein, healthy proteins, high in healthy fats, natural reoccurring carbohydrates, naturally occurring carbohydrates in plants, fruits, vegetables. They put it down to that balance, which is why the life expectancy is so high, but not just the length of life, but the quality. So we felt those were 3 solid reasons to base Hit My Macros on the Mediterranean diet. And again, so far so good. We've had a lot of success, a lot of people hitting their goals, which is what we do it for.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely works. Even before I actually started using Hit My Macros, and even when I'm not using it, I think once I moved to Spain, a lot changed for my body.
Yeah.
And I didn't really change much except for quality of food.
Yeah.
Because when I was living in Kuwait, like, the quality of food is not that great there, right? Because it's a desert, everything's getting imported. There's a lot of processed foods in our diets there. And home food, we're having rice and chicken and all of that stuff, but the eating out culture is huge there.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy, right? So when I moved here, even though I go out to eat, I cook my own food. I noticed one biggest change for me was my bloating had instantly just disappeared.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's I'm assuming it's the quality of food, obviously,
probably.
And low processed food.
Yeah.
Not having too much of that.
And eating out, you don't know what's going into your your plate.
I mean, I am eating out as well, but again, when I go out to eat, I'm going to Spanish restaurants. I'm having tapas. Like it's different. The quality is different.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see your food and all the ingredients almost here with every meal. You go to some places where it's fast food, and you just don't know what's in that, right? So that's super important. Whereas here it's just naturally the eating culture, the dining out culture is very healthy.
Yeah.
Even when they drink healthily.
Yeah.
They'll have a beer or two, but then some food, and then another beer, and then some food.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, in England where I'm from, it's start drinking at 5 p.m. as much as possible. And only drink, a liquid diet, and be hammered by 8 o'clock, and then it's just not good.
Am I British?
All right, mate. Me old governor. I don't know why I'm a Cockney all the time. Not Cockney.
Yeah, no, that's true actually, and I think also me moving here in my 30s was great because I already went into that kind of culture, not the British culture, which I probably had before, where it was just about liquid diets. But it's been really nice because now you just, you drink responsibly, you eat well, you move a lot.
Yeah.
A lot changed for me since I moved here. Maybe also the like upping my movement, just generally. Like I'm not driving here. I'm biking everywhere, I'm walking everywhere, and I feel that's probably also something that's...
Well, it's a very walkable place, isn't it, Spain? And very bikeable, as we know.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that naturally, and this is kind of just going off what you've just said there, we're naturally hardwired to be lazy.
Yeah.
You got to remember that. A lot of people just don't. I'm feeling lazy. It's like, you're acting the way our ancestors should have acted. You go out and you get your food. Hunter-gatherer. Let's go back 12,000 years. Before farming, the agricultural revolution. We were lazy because we would go out, get food, and then go to our safe place, whether that be the forest or the cave that we lived in, and one, escape predators and just not be out in the wild, and two, conserve energy because you don't know when you're eating next. It could be 3 days, so it's like, okay, I'm just going to naturally be lazy. The only time I move is if I'm running for my life or I'm trying to get food, right, or water. But now we have Uber Eats and we have supermarkets, and so that genetic buildup is saying be lazy, don't go out. There are predators, but yeah, we can call someone to deliver food. The supermarket's right downstairs. As COVID showed us, we don't even have to leave our house now to go to work. We could just literally stay at home and get everything done.
I mean, sometimes I find myself not leaving the house for like 3 days.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but I feel like shit after, obviously.
Yeah, because we don't have to. So now we have to not only do we force ourselves to go out and run and exercise and walk and things like that, but we're going against our DNA, our hardwiring to say, right, I should be staying at home, being lazy. No, I have to go out and do something. I have to stay active. So that's why it's hard, and that's why people slip into this laziness, I think,
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it as well, like the hunter-gatherer time, even though they were going, to protect themselves, like when they were going out to hunt, they were getting their movement, they were getting their exercise, right?
Yeah.
And now we have to actually go somewhere and pick up these things that have been made for us.
Yeah, run on a treadmill.
Exactly.
Yeah, like we're forcing ourselves to do the things that we would have to do to survive
naturally.
Before. Yeah, and we don't have to do them. No. So it's even harder. It's like, I don't have to go and do that anymore, but I should. Yeah. Get my heart rate up. So, yeah, it's complicated. I do think that people are lazy because of this. This is the primary thing. It's like your DNA. You can't help it.
And social media doesn't help.
No, not at all. It can motivate you.
Can it though? I think like you can also get to the point where you're just sitting and you're just scrolling and you're watching all these people in the gym or out running, and you're like, oh, I should probably do that, and then you just go next.
Oh, look, a kid falling. Hey.
Exactly.
Yeah. In all honesty, having a timer that allows you only to be on social media for 20 minutes a day is gold.
I've done that. I started last week. Best decision ever.
Amazing.
And like, I'm not running out of my time by the end of the night anymore.
You're on iPhone?
Yeah.
So what's the app on iPhone? Because it'll be helpful.
In your settings, you can just go and restrict apps to a certain time. Any app.
Boom. In Android, it's digital well-being.
Now this you can
just search that.
And it's not an app, it's just from the phone itself.
Okay, I think it's in the settings on the Android as well.
And now all my apps turn off at 9:30.
Okay.
And they only start at 8 a.m.
Amazing.
So I've actually managed to cut down massive amounts of screen time. My only issue is when I'm actually working on Instagram, then it's like I lose my scrolling time because I'm creating reels and all of that stuff and doing the captions and stuff, and it takes up my scroll time. But it's fine.
Yeah. I tell you what, that's huge. Just because then you don't feel guilty about having a scroll, because you know that the maximum you're going to scroll is 20 minutes a day. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
I no longer take my phone into the bathroom.
I still do that because I go to the bathroom for a while. TMI.
I have a book in there. I have a book in the bathroom. So if I want to do anything, I'll read.
Well, now I'm not allowed the phone in the office.
Okay, nice.
And outside there either.
Nice.
I have a book there.
Yeah, have you safe places?
Yeah.
The biggest one is the phone outside the bedroom.
I don't scroll. Like, if I'm not done with my scroll time, I'll keep sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I'll go into the room.
Yeah.
But if I get up and go and I'm thinking, oh, I actually still want to scroll, I'll come back and sit down.
Back, are you?
Yeah, it's okay. No. And in the morning as well, no.
Yeah, because I find I wake up in the morning and I'm just on the phone.
But that's why I block my apps.
And I even start working.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even still, I'll stay in bed past 8 and just... So now, phone outside the room.
Yeah.
Alarm clock. So what I get is I got my old phone in my room and I've deleted everything off it. So there's no social media, no messaging, nothing. It's just an alarm. Because I wanted to wake up to Spotify or something, So I've linked that to Spotify and that's it. I leave it on a wireless charging thing all the time. And that's my alarm clock. And so I go in the room, I got a book by the bed, and that's it. I go to sleep.
Nice. So, like we were talking about people getting lazy because it's hardwired in us, right?
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the acceptable amount of time to be lazy for?
I how far can I stretch this?
Exactly, how far? Because I'll be honest, I have times like that, like especially when I don't have like a specific goal that I'm following. It can I can have a lot of internal battles with myself.
Yeah.
About whether I should go to the gym today or not.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to go out for a walk. It's easy for me to grab the bike and go. But sometimes I have this feeling about going to the gym and suffering.
Yeah.
Even though I enjoy it. And once I'm actually in the gym, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy to be there. I can be there 3 hours sometimes, you know. I'll just like chill, I'll go to the pool. I have a great time.
Yeah.
But that initial getting my ass up of my comfort zone or my safe place, it happens. And I think the longest I've ever allowed myself to be in that place, like without being on holiday, was probably 4 days.
Okay.
But I don't feel good about it.
The laziness.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think if you exercise a lot, as you do, it's okay to have a couple of days every now and again, 4 days, 5 days, a week, whatever. Your muscle, if you're worried about losing muscle, which is what a lot of my clients are worried about all the time, they think they're going to lose it after a week. Unless you're starving yourself, you're not going to break down muscle for 3 weeks. It's about 3 weeks before your body just starts to, I wouldn't want to say cannibalize your muscle, because it doesn't really do that unless you're starving, but your muscle starts to lose its firmness. And then of course the weeks after that it's about 3 weeks. So don't worry about that.
I mean, I took a break for 8 weeks when I got my nose job.
And
it was actually really great because it was forced. So there's no guilt there, you know, because it was something I had to do.
But you were still moving around.
No.
Nothing.
And then when I came here, like, I started walking. I was still off for a while, but I didn't feel guilty because the laziness was not lazy. It was just I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But when I get lazy, then I also start feeling guilty.
As we all do.
But when I get lazy to the point where I don't eat well either. Not in the sense of I eat crap. I don't.
Yeah.
I still cook my food. I don't really order anything from outside. But I eat less because I don't want to get up and make something. You know? So then I'm like, protein shakes, 2 meals, that's it.
So there's a couple of areas I want to go into, or a couple of directions I want to go in here. One of them is how strict are you, or how hard are you on yourself about reaching certain goals? Are you someone who says, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that as my fitness goals? Because if you keep saying those, but if you're not sort of committed to putting into the work, you're not committed to putting in the work, then you need to stop saying those things. You need to stop saying, I want to do this, I want to run a marathon. You can't keep saying, I want to run a marathon, but you don't run all the time. Like, I've run marathons, they suck, and they require a lot of training. And I was still pretty slow.
Well, no, I'm not that person.
Right, so that's great.
I am, and when I am, there's a reason.
Yeah.
If I'm training for something normally.
Yeah.
And I will not be lazy. I will talk myself out of it and I'll go. There's no problem. But when I'm going through, like, now it's the summer. Yeah. Not really that interested in doing that much right now. Then I'm like, okay, I don't have a specific goal at this moment of my time.
Well, then that's okay. If you just want to maintain and be healthy, then that's fine to have 4 days off, whatever.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't tend to understand that because they feel like they have to constantly be doing things. I mean, I'm guilty of that, and I'm sure you've had moments where you've been guilty of that as well. Yeah,
but I set goals, and therefore I do my best to reach them. So I've got a goal going right now where I'm running 20 kilometers a week and cycling 100 kilometers a week, aside from my weightlifting days in the gym. But because of those goals, I'm not missing days. I can't miss days. I ran 3 kilometers right before I came here after my workout because I don't want to get to Sunday and have to go out and run 15.
So yeah, I do that when I have
so
goals,
that's great.
But right now I don't have any because I'm traveling on Sunday, so I'm like
a bit of stretching.
And I'm traveling where I'm gonna be climbing for 8 hours a day. So that thought in my head as well is like, should I or should I not push myself this week?
Then that's fine.
Because my last climbing trip that I had, I remember it was 7 days climbing 8 hours a day, and after 3 days, I was like, I need a break. I gave myself a break because before that, I hadn't stopped training at all, and I was just going at it, and I was done after 3 days, and then I took one day off.
Well, you got that coming up.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have a bit of time off. The problem is when you slip into a habit of, okay, I'm missing 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Yeah. That's not how you get and stay in shape.
I've never had that.
To anyone out there who's like, can I just train 1 week a month? That's not consistency. No. And you got to ask yourself a question. How frequently are you not brushing your teeth in the evenings? And how frequently are you not sleeping? And the reason I ask these questions is because most of the people brush their teeth every night, sleep, eat dinner. They do these things like clockwork because it's discipline. Yeah. You got to brush your teeth, right? You got to get your sleep. You got to eat dinner. You got to have breakfast. You got to go to work. You're not motivated to do these things. You have to. If not, you don't eat or you get cavities or whatever. And training or exercise needs to become on that same level. Mm-hmm. You can't, and I say this all the time, you cannot rely on motivation. Look at every great thing that's ever been done in human history. Do you think they landed on the moon because of motivation? No, it was discipline. It was sitting at a desk, crafting out the mathematics that puts a rocket on the moon, right? That's, there's a bit of motivation every now and again. I'm sure there's that initial, hey, let's go and land on the moon. But ultimately, it's the graft, it's the hours that you just put in of discipline. This needs to get done. I need to do this. I need to go to work to make money. I'm motivated to go to the gym 5-10% of the time. I'm motivated to go, which is great, and I'll use that, and I'll go, hey, I'm really motivated, this is going to be a great workout. But the 90% of the other time is discipline. Get up, go.
No, just definitely.
Get up and go. And I always say, can I swear?
Yeah.
It's just a small swear word.
You can swear.
A little one.
I swear all the time.
Fuck. Not that one. Motivation is fickle, inconsistent, and unreliable. Discipline gets shit done.
No, that's for sure. I mean, this is what I also say. I actually have one client who constantly is in this battle with herself. Yeah. I was not consistent. I went to the gym once this week, so it was a shit show. I'm just gonna go and like binge now. And I'm you can't do that. I said, consistency. First, let's sit and discuss the reasons why you only manage once. And I've only asked a minimum of 3 days because that's good. If you're getting 3 days in, great. But if you do one and you feel you haven't made it and the end of the week comes, instead of you trying again, you're just going to say, I'm just going to order all the snacks in the world and I'm just not going to do anything now. And the reason is that you just feel like, I messed it up, so I'm going to try again next week. And
we all fall into that.
But that mentality of, I'm going to try next week is, I think, what screws people the most. Because that
Monday, that mindset starts.
No, like many years ago, I no longer have that, thank God, because now for me, I don't look at anything as a weekend or a weekday. Yeah. My days are just flowing, you know? Yeah, that's good. And a long time ago, I had the same mindset. It's like, okay, we'll just start next week. Oh, we messed this one up, we start, and it's like, it doesn't work it doesn't work that way because you're never actually going to start something. So, people say, I want to start a training program next month on the 1st of the month. But why?
Why are you waiting?
What does the number first have to do with anything?
And they last till day 8 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. 80% of New Year's resolutions fail.
Of course, because they're
10% get half done, 10% get done. Because everyone waits for the first of the year. We look at Hit My Macros sign-ups, and there's this spike in January. Like with everything. Mm-hmm. Why are you waiting until January? I understand there's the holiday season and all that, which is great. That's 2 weeks, yeah? Why are you waiting? Time's short. Life's short. You gotta get started. So, yeah, I don't like to put things off. Look, granted, every Monday I wake up and I say, yeah, this is going to be a great week. I'm going to train a lot. I'm going to work a lot. I'm going to, enjoy myself, blah, blah, blah. I have those weekly sort of spikes. Mm-hmm. But I'll go out and train on a Saturday and Sunday, and I'll do my best to eat well over the weekend. And another thing is people say, "Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky that you you have that mindset. It's like, oof, I don't know, man.
It's hard.
This is a built mindset. You know, there's every inch of me wanting to just eat ice cream and chill.
Yeah.
You know, it's just work.
I also think it's harder for people like you and me who live in a place that has, you know, all the nature and the beach, and we work from home.
Yeah.
And we are our own bosses.
Yeah.
And again, people will say, you're so lucky you have all the time in the world to go train. Yes. But it's also hard to kind of have a proper routine in that sense if you don't actually focus on making one, because I'm not going to a 9 to 5.
No.
It's not that, if I don't train at 7, I won't be able to train till 6. That's not true. I can train at any point of the day. So sometimes what can also happen with people working at home is like, you keep it open. I'll train whenever, and then it just doesn't happen. So it's not as easy or as convenient as people think it is, because again, we go back to that mindset, the hardwired of being lazy from our ancestors. And so I guess there's like pros and cons to everything, because when I had a normal job, I knew if I didn't train early in the morning, I would never be able to do it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You know, so it was much easier to just get it done.
Just get it done, yeah, because you're fixed.
You're fixed, exactly.
But when you're not fixed,
yeah.
No, I wouldn't change it for the world, don't get me wrong.
I would never change it for the world.
However, you gotta bloody kick yourself up the arse, because no boss is going to come and help you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the food on the table is because of the work you're putting in. And it's one of those things where sometimes it's hard to be your own boss and breathe down your own neck and push yourself.
I agree.
So there's that side too, and then
which is why I hire you every once in a while.
Thanks, man.
And whenever I have you with me, then we go through these challenges and stuff, and then I get it done, because I'm the kind of person where I need somebody to hold me accountable. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, I do the same for my clients. You know, I know who needs accountability and who's like has that discipline, and most of the people need accountability. I'm exactly like that. Yeah. I'm a trainer, yes. I'm a coach, yes. I do nutrition and all of that, yes. However, it doesn't mean I'm perfect. Yeah. I still need somebody, which is why I hire coaches, which is why I hire you, which is, you know. So I need somebody to breathe down my neck too sometimes. Yeah. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. And you know, we're moving into a very interesting place where, don't want to get myself into hot water here, but I think people are quite soft on themselves at times. They give themselves a lot of breaks and slack, and as a result, we've got an obesity crisis. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I shouldn't be too hard on myself. I get that. I do. I don't think that people should be too hard on themselves, you know, especially if they're dealing with disorders or mental conditions and things like that, sure. But I do think that you should push yourself. And I do think that you should be, if you set yourself a goal and you truly want to reach that goal, be hard on yourself. If you don't reach it, this is going to sound pretty tough, but if you don't reach it, you've failed. You've failed to reach that goal. We are so privileged right now. You know, the things I talked about earlier, the Uber Eats, the supermarkets, the opportunity for work online. If you are a mentally and physically abled person living in the 21st century, especially in the Western world, the opportunity you have is so rich. 50 years ago, how much work did we have to do just to put food on the table? You know, physical labor, right? And then going back 100 years ago, well, we were worrying about diseases and war and famine and, you know, in the Western world. Now we're so privileged, so use it, you know. Use the tools that you have to reach goals that you couldn't have reached 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, the cell phones we had 20 years ago, the information in your pocket. So coming back, I'm hard on myself. I set myself goals. And if I don't reach them, I failed. I'll recognize it and I'll do better in the future, but I'm a failure. I need to hit these goals, right? I'm treating myself as an adult. Yeah. And I don't think it's wrong to be hard on yourself. I think it's great. Do it in levels. If you're just starting out, you know, okay, go easy on yourself. But For sure. Say I've got a deadline and I want to reach this goal and I'm going to reach that goal. I have all of the tools to get there.
I agree, but I also, yeah, you're right. Some people maybe just get too soft on themselves because they want to keep making excuses. But I also think that there's seasons for it, depending on how much how many times you actually do this and try to achieve goals, right? Because we can't constantly be chasing a goal either. Depending. I mean, let's talk about, because if you're looking at life, there's many aspects to it, right? We're looking at our health.
Yeah.
We're looking at work, family, all these things.
Yeah.
If you have goals running side by side constantly for all of them, you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
Right? So what I mean is having seasons sometimes is good as well. So this is not for somebody who's just making excuses for everything in their life.
Right.
But this is for somebody who feels overwhelmed, gets burnt out. You know, you
Of
can
course.
separate the things that you want to do.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the most important things is your health.
Yeah.
And so let's not say you have this goal where you want to achieve a specific body goal or whatever. More about your health, saying I need to get 3 strength training sessions in, and that should be a non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's no matter what, whether you have the goal or not.
Yeah, and I'm not saying your goals should be, run a marathon a week or whatever, but 3 strength sessions a week. Yeah, absolutely. I always say if you look for excuses, you'll find them.
Always.
They're really easy to find.
Very easy
to find. So they're everywhere.
No, yeah.
Oh, look, I got one right here.
Yeah. I mean, we were just having conversation. Like, I have my quad days are the worst.
Yeah.
You know, they're painful. They hurt.
Yeah.
And it's the only workout that I always end up going in the evening to the gym because I am having a conversation with myself all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. So I'm like,
but it's a good conversation.
It's going to be full. I need to use the leg press and I'm going to have to wait. It's going to waste time, but I normally spend like 3 hours there anyway. So what am I even talking about? Do I have something in the morning? No.
Yeah, you're looking for them.
Yeah, we can always find them. Or, oh shit, if I haven't eaten in 2 hours, if I go now, I'm going to get hungry. So I should probably eat now. And then you wait another 2 hours, you know?
Yeah.
So they're always going to be there.
They'll always be around. But I find of all my clients, I think the majority of them, the vast majority, let's say 95%, want hard talk.
Yeah.
They want me to be hard on them. Because they know that they can do it. Everyone is capable of crazy high achievements. Everybody's capable of that. They just need to be pushed. Look at the Olympics that just I'm not saying everyone needs to be an Olympic athlete, but do you have any idea what those guys put themselves through to obtain that level? We can do crazy things.
Oh, we can.
So we can strength train 3 times a week.
I mean, like last year when we did the 75-day challenge.
Yeah.
Mate, we really
Yeah, it sucked.
But we did it. It was not hard.
No.
You know, it was
just get on with it.
Yeah, it was the same when I was training for jiu-jitsu, you know. I was doing 10 jiu-jitsu sessions a week, 4 strength sessions a week. I was tired, but I did it. Because I had a goal.
Yeah, you had a goal.
There was a goal.
And the first 3 weeks, this is really important. The first 3 weeks suck. Mm-hmm. For any training plan I've ever done, for any diet plan I've ever done, the first 3 weeks. But if you get past that, your chances of completing it just skyrocket. Because most people drop out in the first 3 weeks because they suck.
Well, on this point, like I feel like a lot of people as well, they have this newfound motivation, especially if they've never done a program before or anything, and they have this motivation, which we know is not going to last, right? Because motivation doesn't last. I see a lot of the time, first 3 weeks, people will be super motivated to like be doing it, and then they're just like, oh, now I'm bored.
They drop off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually they make that decision within the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they're running off momentum and then they just drop.
But then this is why they have to understand that motivation is not something that's going to last. You have to have that discipline and the mindset saying, you know, I've committed to this.
Yeah.
And now I have to complete it.
Yeah.
You know, because the commitment, if you signed up, normally the commitment will be 3 weeks. 3 months, right? Normally if you signed up with a trainer.
Yeah.
So you set yourself 3 months.
Yeah.
it's not that hard to stick to a whole 3-month program. If I sign up for a 3-month program, I will stick to the whole 3 months.
And I promise you that if you stick with it for those 3 months, how you feel after that 3 months is going to carry you for another 3 or another 6 or for the rest of your life.
That's true.
That's another thing too. It's life. It's the rest of your life. You know, it's not a 3-month thing. It's not a 6-month thing. It's you know, it's not training every single day, but it's. People are like, oh, how often do I have to do strength training? I'm like, oh, until you die. Just keep doing it.
I agree.
Until you can't do it anymore, and then you probably haven't got long left.
But this is the thing, like when I was in Kuwait, all I did was strength training because there's nothing else to do, right? Being here, I found a lot of sports that I really enjoy.
Yeah. But
I still do strength training because it's something I need to do till I die, right? Because there's so many other reasons why I do it that has nothing to do with, you know, I'm not trying to actually improve performance in that sense. I'm not trying to, yes, I want to get stronger, of course, but I want to get stronger so that I can live longer. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But I have other sports I want to do as well.
Yeah.
And so for me, yes, I get to points where I find going and lifting weights really boring. Mm-hmm. Which I never did before, but now because I have so many sports, I'm like, you know, but it's like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
So if I end up taking 3 days off, I've still got another, my math is shit, 4 days.
4 days. We'll speed that up. We'll cut that and your math will be lightning.
You still got 4 days. So I've still got 4 days to go and get it done. And I always do.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, it's something you just have to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you understand that, it's a game changer for the rest of your life.
And when I say strength training, you mean the same. It doesn't mean lifting weights. It's anything that trains your strength.
Yeah.
It could be incline walking. It could be body weight exercises. It could be climbing. That's all strength training. You're building strength doing that. So that's what I mean. People think strength training is deadlifting their body weight or more. No, that's a form of strength training. Cycling can be strength training if you're spinning classes, the inclines. So yeah.
But you don't think resistance training, like going and lifting weights, is super important?
Do I think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Because otherwise, you know, I don't know. I just feel lifting weights. Yes, it's resistance training, strength training, just as you said, incline walking or anything. But if you don't go and lift weights and all you're doing is cycling, for example, you know, you're not going to get the benefits as much as you would by going and lifting weights.
You'll be a better cyclist if you're also lifting weights.
For sure.
Absolutely.
But when we're talking about building muscle, you know, building more muscle mass, having a higher bone density, and all these things, you do need to go pick up weights.
Yeah.
You know, just doing cycling.
Some form of, and again, it could be your body weight too. Calisthenics is legit.
Yeah.
You know, pull-ups are probably one of the best exercises anyone can do. Most people can't.
You're lifting your whole body weight.
But that's your body weight. That's a lot of weight to pull up. You know. But we talked about this before. Just a quick side note: we did this podcast kind of before, didn't we? But we lost it. But we did mention this in that one. Do you know why the majority of people go into a retirement home?
Why?
They can't stand up off a toilet.
I don't want to be that person.
Nope.
Which is why I squat.
That's I saw this and I looked it up because I didn't believe it. I think it's 70% of people who go into a retirement home need assistance getting off the toilet, doing a half squat. Yeah. I saw it in a podcast, so I'm not claiming that. But then I looked it up, and that is the reason. So squats are important, but I mean, resistance training, just being able to move. What's it called? The point test. We'll have to Google it. I'll have to look it up later. But there's a home body weight test that you can do, and I forget the name of it. Maybe the 5-point test. We'll put it in the
We'll find it.
We'll find it. But it's a cross-legged seated position on the floor to standing.
I've seen that.
You've seen this?
Mm-hmm.
And they've found that this one exercise, this one test, can determine your life expectancy. They say that if you need your hand to stand up, that is counted as an extra point or something like this. And that massively increases your risk about early mortality, in the next 5 years. So, yeah, we'll find that out and look it up. But I'm still able to do it. It's good. I'm quite heavy. Can you do it?
I'll try.
You'll try?
Yeah.
Okay. We won't try.
We'll try after.
We'll try after.
I mean, we can record it, but once we move everything.
How about this? We'll pretend we cut it and we just tried it. You ready? Whoa. So how'd you do?
So good.
Oh,
I'm gonna live long.
Yeah. Apparently I'm gonna live till I'm 212. I pushed the world away from me.
So far.
Anyway, so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so going back, it's so important to train your muscles. There's a image you can look up of the legs of a triathlete in their 70s.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Isn't that terrifying?
I actually heard the entire podcast with the doctor who was doing that study.
Oh, yeah?
It was super interesting.
Really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
She was saying how, even if you're a 25-year-old person who's sedentary,
Yeah.
your leg is not going to look like the 70-year-old triathlete. Which is why, they say, your metabolism slows down as we age, but it's not true. We're just losing muscle mass. So if you work on maintaining muscle mass, your metabolism's not going to slow down.
No.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
And a lot of people will say it's, after a certain age, it's very hard to build muscle. It's harder, but it's totally possible.
It's not impossible.
I've worked with 60-year-olds who've built a ton of muscle.
Yeah.
It's totally possible, despite their background in physical activity. Some of them have been sedentary until about 60.
I actually had a client who was 65, and we did great things together.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, my auntie's, she started running marathons at 50. And now she runs ultra marathons. She does 10 marathons in 10 days. That's not an exaggeration. She's another level. She started this at 50.
It's never too late to start. That's another thing.
Exactly.
I think people are always like, it's too late to start.
Nope.
It's not.
No.
You start whenever. I mean, I'm trying to convince my parents to get their asses up and start moving, but no, they're like, we are just like this. And I'm like, no, I want to see you alive.
Yeah. And it's not just about the length of life, it's quality.
Quality.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, we kind of went on a route there, didn't we? Another thing that I'll just say, just because this was on my mind, you mentioned it earlier before, when lacking motivation. If it's a constant feeling where you're just dreading going to the gym, find a new way to exercise.
Yeah.
Find a new hobby. You could do one full body strength training session a week, and that's fine, as long as you find something else that's just keeping you active.
Yeah.
So I really got over running. I still love it. I still love it so much, but I just didn't see my motivation. What bad word to use? My desire to go out for a run really wasn't where it used to be. So I started cycling, and I love it. Now
but I think that happens in phases, no? Also.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I mean,
expect it.
Like right now, strength training is not attractive to me.
No.
It's just not, and it's only been a couple of weeks. I mean, I've been going, I've been training, I've been doing my sessions, but I'm not getting the same pleasure out of it now. Like, I'm just thinking, I'd rather take the bike out and go for an 80k bike ride right now. You know?
Yeah. So do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So for me, when I go through these lazy phases, it's this weird concept of I've not lifted weights. I've done a lot, but I've not lifted weights, therefore I am failed.
Yeah.
But that's not true.
No.
And I think this is a problem I have, and I know that. And I think it might be just so carved into my brain again, because the only form of training I used to do was strength training. That for me, that's training.
That's your workout. That's your form of exercise.
But last week, and we had 7 days in the week, I think I did 8 sessions.
Yeah.
Of different things, including strength.
So fun.
Run, walk, bike.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Strength.
Yeah.
But then I still feel like, I only did 2 strength sessions last week. That wasn't enough.
Failure. Yeah.
It's this mindset.
Yeah. But just move. Do what you enjoy. Get those endorphins going.
Yeah.
Another thing too is, don't forget that the gym, especially our gym, if you've got a gym that's well equipped and it's kind of got a lot of open space, which we're really lucky to have, treat it as a fun playground experience. Sometimes I'll go to that outdoor section, I'll pick up a slam ball and I'll just throw it back and forth.
Yeah.
And jog, pick it up, just throw it. And I'm just like, oh, this is fun. Now I'm going to do some skipping. I want to try out the ski erg machine thing, you know, and I'll just bob around and I'll finish that and I'll feel really tired and feel really good, and don't go in and say, right, I have to do bench press and then abs and then a little bit of back, and you know, if you're not really feeling that, you're probably going to put in a half-assed effort anyway.
Yeah.
Instead, go and hit the punch bag for a bit and jump on the treadmill and be like, I'm going to walk on an incline for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to cycle. One of my clients, well, a few of them now actually, I've moved them onto tetrad training. You know what tetrad training is?
No.
Ooh, it's super cool. So tetrad training was developed by, wait for it, the ancient Greek Olympic athletes.
Okay.
We're talking 2,400 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2,400 years ago. I think the first Olympic Games were 800 BCE. But anyway, about 2,500 years ago. Tetrad training doesn't rely on a week cycle, so you would love it. Like, forget this whole Monday to Friday and then the weekend off and all. It runs on a 4-day system that you just keep repeating forever, right? And so day one is, I believe, preparation. So on day one, you do movements that will prepare you for day two. So day one is things like some light cardio, maybe some stretching, some preparation activity, right? Day two is your all-out day. So that would be either your full body weightlifting day, or if you're an athletic sprinter, you would do sprints that day. Like your all-out day, you put in maximum effort. Day one, about 80%. Day two is 100% effort. Day three is your recovery activity day. So you do a light run, yoga, and some sort of activity, maybe some paddleboard, or you know, just something to keep you moving. And day four is skill training. So you would really refine a skill. So this would be jiu-jitsu or climbing. And then back to day one. And so what some of my clients do is this skill day, they'll do 2 different skills, climbing and jiu-jitsu, for example. So in every 8-day period, they're doing 2 skill days. Mm-hmm. They're doing 2 maximum effort days. They're doing 2 preparation days and 2 recovery days, but essentially no days off. That day off, which is the 3rd day, which is the rest day, is like an active recovery day.
Yeah.
And what my clients have fed back to me, and I've even tried it, is that they love it because they're not relying on the 7-day week cycle. Mm-hmm. They're relying on 4 days. It's just that 4-day rotation. And it's just a different, sometimes you just need to put a spanner in the works, right? Change that.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much do that. Like, I don't know if it would be called hybrid training. But I bike, I do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I haven't been climbing now, but it's something that I do as well sometimes. I lift weights, mm-hmm. right? And I spread that out throughout the week. Yeah. Some days I'll do 2. So like if I'm going to go out and do a 5K, I'll still go to the gym and do an upper body session, for example. Sure. You know, if I'm going to do a long bike ride, then that's all I'm going to do. But if I do a short bike ride, again, I do an upper body day. And then the other 2 days, if I do jiu-jitsu, I'll go do my lower body days. Yeah. So I still do all of those things put together. But and I enjoy doing it. Yeah. It's fun. I prefer that than having I need to go and do this. Yeah. But obviously, I do like to follow a progressive plan at the gym.
Of course.
And I think that's really important. Like, I feel like for people like us or people who have been training for a very long time or for all their lives, it's you know, progressive is not something you need to probably do all the time because you need to change it up every once in a while. Yeah. But I feel like somebody new just starting, 1, they need to do things that they enjoy. Yes. Mm-hmm. But 2, they do need some sort of progression to actually start building that strength. For sure. And therefore, having that plan of having that repetition for a couple of weeks is quite important.
Yeah. So they can improve their strength or flexibility or endurance or whatever they want to work on.
Yeah.
A big piece of advice is if you are struggling to get started and you find that your motivation and discipline drops, sign up for something.
Yeah.
If your goal is to run more or do more cardio, sign up for a 5 or a 10K in 6 weeks. That will get you running.
I mean, that's what happened with me in jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. I wanted to improve jiu-jitsu, but I was too lazy to go. So what did I say?
Enter a competition.
Boom.
And it got you going. You improved your jiu-jitsu. So just sign up, pay the entrance fee, commit to it, and then the fear of just sucking on that day is enough to get you going.
I mean, it was like when we did the Spartan together.
Yep.
Like, that was when we did the 75 days, and we worked our freaking asses off. And I never run, and that was the most I ever ran in my life in a span of that time.
And you did well. You smashed it.
And yeah, so that was... And then when I did the climbing course last year, I spent a whole month bouldering.
Yeah. Because you had that.
Because I had that, but that didn't mean that I stopped doing the other things.
No,
I was still strength training, and I was still doing these things, but I had a focus.
Yeah, and it takes a front seat. You know, all of a sudden your health and fitness takes a front seat.
Yeah.
When you commit to something like that.
It's important. I have a client actually that over here, and I told him, like, he's gotten to a really good point, and he's enjoying his training and everything, but he's like, okay, you know, like, it's not that exciting anymore as it was when he first started. So I told him, hey, let's train for a Spartan. Sign up to a Spartan. Yeah. So now he's signed up to a Spartan, and so all his training is focused on that, and he's having so much fun because he's going outdoors, he's going on the monkey bars, he's doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a difference. But where people don't have the opportunity to do that, what I like to tell them is, look at strength training as something you do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And find a sport that you enjoy.
There you go. Or even an activity.
An activity, a sport, but I feel like
something
in terms of movement, you know, find something that you enjoy, whether it's playing tennis, playing paddle, you know, I don't know, playing basketball, whatever sport it is that you enjoy, and where you can do it, it matters. It makes a difference.
And then whatever you choose, whatever activity, sport, strength training, you name it, and then the diet, don't focus on 10 out of 10s.
No.
Focus on 8.5 out of 10. Because if you were to eat really well for 85% of the time, you'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you were to train, if you were to only miss 1.5 sessions out of 10, you're doing really well. Like, that's going to get you towards your goals. The problem with the 10 out of 10s is it's such a high number to hit consistently all the time.
Yeah.
I don't hit my 10 out of 10s. There's no way I'm hitting 10 out of 10s. But I'm hitting a lot of consistent 8.5s.
I mean, I think 10 out of 10 can happen if you really have that solid goal, and that too for a short period of time. A month, exactly.
75 days, whatever.
Anytime more than that.
And these challenges are great, because I can do this. And when you finish them, you go, of course I can do 8.5 or 85%. I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where I am. Choose your things and then just go for it 85% of the time. But it's got to be a really good 85%, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I like doing these challenges as well is because it kind of feels like a restart for me sometimes, especially as the discipline starts to go, or let's say you go on a vacation, you know, where you're moving, but you're not training, and you're still kind of in that little buzz. I think throwing in a challenge or signing up to something is just like, all right, you know, get everything going again, get my ass moving again, get on my food. And
that sounds good, doesn't it? Click.
Yeah.
I can't do it so well with this one. Yeah. Anyway,
but
I totally agree.
I think
it's the reset you need.
Yeah, and I think it's important to do it quite often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I feel, again, somebody brand new starting a new program, it's exciting, right? They signed up for 3 months. After the first month, they're already starting to lose that motivation because it's not going to be there. But then finish it. After that, if you choose to take a break, which is obviously not recommended, you can, but then get into something else straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, always have something pulling you.
Always.
Yeah.
Whether it's a skill you want to try to improve on, whether you want to go do a competition of some sort, or whatever it is, we have to set these things. Otherwise, it's like with work as well. You know, if you're at work, you have deadlines that your boss gives you, or you have a financial goal that you want to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Once you hit that goal, do we stop? No, we have a new goal.
Yeah, you set new ones.
Exactly. When you have work to do, once you finish the task, that's not it for you. There's something else coming. And I think we have to learn to do that with our health as well. Yeah,
totally agree. And like I said, just get your 8.5s. I mean, as fitness coaches, a lot of people will look at us and sort of say, oh, you guys must be on it all the time. No.
I'm very open about the fact that I'm not on it a lot.
Sometimes I don't sleep so well. Sometimes I miss a workout, or every weekend I definitely eat at least half a liter of ice cream. Every weekend.
You love your ice cream, don't you?
I love my ice cream, especially in the summer.
Me too.
But you know what that is? It's just that, it's that reward at the end of the week. It's not a cheat, because I hate I don't think there's such thing as a cheat day.
No.
It's a reward day. And I get to the end of the week and I have my beers and my ice cream and I'm just like, okay, I've earned this. It's okay. I'm going to enjoy every bite and then go hard, tomorrow or whatever the day is. But I'm not perfect all the time. I think life would be very boring if you were perfect all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be very boring, very dull.
It does get repetitive, no? And then you're just like, okay, so I'm reading every day, I'm meditating, I'm going to the gym, I'm eating well.
Yeah.
I need some fun.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And you can find fun in those things as well. Like I said, with the gym, the workouts and things like that. And meditation is an interesting one because I can't do it sitting still.
No?
No, can't do it. Can't sit there and meditate.
How do you meditate?
Let me just go on to, I have tried. I've had a lot of friends say, you've got to really try. And I'm like, trust me, I've tried for hours to just sit there and meditate. Can't do it. In fact, I despise it. It really doesn't work for me. But I have found that putting my body into a state of discomfort helps me tap into what people are calling meditation. So long runs, long bike rides, or sitting in the sauna are the 3 ways that I meditate, or at least experience the realm. Experience the realm that people talk about when they meditate. And I brought it up with my friend who's a meditation coach. And she said, oh yeah, that's active meditation. That's a thing. Some people can't sit and meditate. They have to go and run. And I find that after about 7 or 8 kilometers, my body's kind of getting a bit, okay, you're running now. You're still running. When are you going to stop? Stop doing this. So my mind has to kind of go somewhere else. I separate mind and body. And Haruki Murakami is a Japanese author who wrote a book called What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. Everybody should read this book, even if you're not a runner. It is a short book. It's one of his non-fiction works, and it's incredible. But he sums it up very well. He says, on a run, I can run from point A to point B, and that distance can be 5 kilometers or it could be 40 kilometers. But if you ask me what I thought about between point A and point B, there's nothing. My mind was clear. And I really relate to that. And I think that's the meditation we're talking about. It's clarity.
I mean, it's different for everyone.
And yet my problems are solved at the end of that run. I don't think about the problems, but when I finish the run, I go, all these problems I had, I've somehow solved them. Just by, it's not switching off.
No, it's not. But it's like the people who like to paint, for example, and it just takes them into another place. Like they're not even focusing on what they're actually doing. It's just a type of meditation for them.
Absolutely.
And it works. For me, I can sit down.
You can.
I've been doing it for so long that I can now do it. But
give me a few years, maybe I'll be the same. I don't know.
But for me, climbing, when I started bouldering when I first came here, I was going so regularly because I was new here. I had a lot of shit going on in my life and I just needed to switch off. And I found going and bouldering really helped because it was just me and the problem.
Where did you first boulder?
In California.
California. That's where you got into it?
Yeah. Climbing, actually. Bouldering, probably here.
Okay. Because I know you've been into it for a while. Sorry, just a side question.
Actually, no, I started bouldering in Kuwait. I started climbing in California. And when I came here, you showed me the climbing gym and I got back into it. But
we went, didn't we?
Yeah. But yeah, for me, that felt like meditation when I couldn't sit still because I was really not in a good place mentally. And every time I sat down, all I wanted to do was cry. So that sitting in silence did not work. So getting up, going to the bouldering gym and just, going through the wall was for me peace of mind.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I mean, meditation doesn't mean you sit and shut your mind off. But even people who sit down to meditate, you need to realize that your mind is not going to be quiet.
No.
Your emotions are not going to go away.
No.
You have to just accept it and not interact with it. That's the entire goal. Just let it pass and try not to interact with it.
Yeah.
Like this is the goal of sitting down to meditate. There's no way you're gonna have a silent mind. No. It's impossible.
No, absolutely not. No, it's like trying to drop off to sleep at night. That's when the circus starts.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually I have this circus been playing in my head for the past month or a little bit more actually, and I've been struggling to sleep. So I've actually just started putting on a nighttime like meditation with like affirmations, and I can't think about anything because it's just like shouting at me, in a nice way. But I fall asleep much easier, even though I have the volume of something on. My thoughts are switched off.
It becomes like a white noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Create white noise.
Yeah.
Like a fan or aircon, or if that fails, just a lot of melatonin.
I was doing that as well the whole of last week.
Some of my clients come to me and they say, "Oh, is it bad to take it for a long time?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe after 6 weeks, but it's probably worse for you to not get your sleep."
Yeah.
So if you find the only way to get to sleep is with some natural melatonin, do it.
Like, I like taking it because it's like the one thing that makes me like when I take it, I'm fully rested and I wake up at the time I want to wake up, and I don't feel tired.
Yeah, same.
That's why I love to use it. It's a really good tool for me to be energized, to be productive the next day and everything. It works for me. But yeah, I do take breaks from it. I hadn't taken it for a long time, and I started again. Yeah. Like last week. Yeah. This week I haven't taken it. Explains a lot. Maybe I should take it again this week.
Maybe. Another thing too is every single client who I work with who is struggling with sleep, I always ask them the big question, are you exercising?
Yeah.
And if they say no, I say do that first. And then tell me you can't sleep, because usually, if I'm training consistently, I have no trouble falling asleep.
Even if I'm training consistently, I have trouble.
You do, and you seek help in these other things. But that's the first question I ask. Another one is, are you hydrated? Sometimes people can't sleep because they're dehydrated. Your body's like, hey, don't go to sleep. It's another 8 hours without water. Yeah. Drink some water.
Yeah.
So.
No, for me, I'm hydrated. I drink about 3 liters a day.
Do you pee in the night?
No.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
God, I pee in the night.
I don't pee in the night. I'm
pee every night.
Very hydrated.
Last night I peed twice.
Wow.
That sucked. You know what I do though?
Because you're getting old.
It's fine. It's fine. Older. We're all going to the same place.
I'm not getting old.
Getting older. You're getting mature. Older. You're like fine wine. French Bordeaux wine. That's what you are. But going back to me going in the toilet in the night, this is an absolute hack for men, not for women. Sorry. And it's not sexist. It only works for men.
What is it?
Sit down wheeze. Because activating the light to pee, to make sure that you're aiming, it's great and everything. You're not going to hit the floor, but you're waking up.
That's it, yeah.
I just go in and sit down in darkness, and you know that everything's going to go where it should.
Yeah.
So
no, it makes
life
sense.
hack, guys. Sit down wheeze, man. Nothing wrong with that. I've even started doing them in the daytime. Be a bit lazy. I'm gonna have a little sit down wee.
I don't think there's a problem with that.
Absolutely not. If you're comfortable with who you are, sit down wheeze, man. 100%.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Awesome. Well, it's been a great chat.
This was fun.
Yeah. But I do want to ask you if you could leave people with 3 pieces of advice.
Ooh, 3?
3. Okay, fine. 2 pieces of advice.
No, I could do 3.
Okay, 3 pieces of advice.
I just need to think.
What would they be?
Okay. Number 1, comparison is the thief of joy. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Number 2, which kind of follows up from number 1, is the only person you should compete with is yourself. So just try to be a better person than you were yesterday.
Yeah. Don't
worry about years ago, months ago, whatever.
Just try and
be a bit better than yesterday and keep improving that. Baby step. Further on that topic, this is how do you eat an elephant?
You don't.
No, you don't. I wouldn't recommend eating an elephant. But if you were to eat an elephant, I almost said it again. You'd eat it piece by piece, right? It's a mountain of a task, yeah. But don't look at the whole elephant. Look at it as little bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
That you could just do bit by bit. So if you sign up to something crazy like a marathon, don't say, right, I've got to train for this marathon. I'm going to go run a marathon. No, I'm going to go run a K and see how I feel after a kilometre, because I'm going to have to do 42 of these. But understanding what a kilometre is and then multiplying that to 42 doesn't seem like such a monumentous task. Mm-hmm. But just looking at the whole stretch is the elephant. So those are my 3 pieces. But big emphasis on the comparison is the thief of joy. because it really is. You know, especially with all of this crap on social media that we're looking at and seeing. If you're comparing yourself to the best versions that everyone's posting, or the best parts of their life. No one posts the shitty parts of their life.
I do, because I like to be real.
You're an exception to the rule, but it's very rare.
No, it's rare.
People do, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at the best, remember that everyone looks the best on social media that they're ever going to look. And number two, everyone's just going to post the best aspects. If you're comparing yourself to those two things, you're just never going to be happy.
No, that's true. I mean, this is the reason why I post when I'm demotivated, when I don't feel like the discipline is really working right now. I post these things because I know that most of my followers or even my clients are following all these people who are showing them the best versions of themselves, that they feel like that's what they need to aspire to be, which is okay, aspire, that's fine, but they also feel quite down when they're not achieving certain things. And it's like,
and what do you do when you're down? Scroll.
You scroll, and you may feel even shittier about yourself. Like, it's just what it is. And I feel like this is a problem. It's going to be there, and we need to just understand that it's going to be there, and remember that, you know, again, you don't post, you know, not you maybe, but a lot of people don't post the hardships of their lives. And just remember that it's the best versions, as you said.
Yeah, you're seeing a very filtered version.
Very, very filtered
of someone's life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Instead, fill up your Instagram with things that make you laugh and smile.
Like stupid shit.
Whatever makes you laugh. I follow a guy, this isn't a shout out, I don't even know the guy, but I follow a guy called Cart Narcs.
Okay.
And he's a guy who patrols around the US in parking lots of supermarkets, yelling at people for not putting their shopping cart back. And it's hilarious. And that's the stuff I want to see on social media. Yeah. I don't want to see filtered versions of it. You know, it's all just a bit too fake. But this is some guy making me laugh, and that is why, for my 20 minutes that I'm on social media, I just want to laugh. I just want to sit there and laugh, and then when I'm done, I'm like, I've laughed. How many times do you laugh in a day? You know, genuinely laugh your ass off. So do that. Social media is way more fun. It
can be. Yeah, I mean, it's great when people follow people for the sake of motivation, but when you start feeling bad about yourself, it's time to unfollow.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
sure, but don't unfollow us.
No, don't unfollow us. And if you don't follow Stacey, I'm going to be putting his Instagram in the show notes.
Oh,
and Stacey also has a gift for all of you.
Yeah, well, it's a small gift, but I can include something else. So first of all, if you do want help with your nutrition, Hit My Macros. It's excellent. I use it myself. Of course, I
use it too.
It's my app. Of course, I'm going to sell it, but I built it because I wanted something that I could use myself. That's the reason I built it. I couldn't find a great alternative, so I built it myself. So anybody who signs up to that, number one, use the discount code mustard20.
Which I'll put in the show notes.
And you'll get 20% off. And number two, this is just an extra thing, but why not? I'll just throw it out there. If you do sign up to Hit My Macros, I will work with you for your first month to get you all set up and going with it so that you're on the right track. And I'll be your guy. So
there we go. So we got a little gift as well. Everything is going to be in the show notes for you guys to take a look at. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of It's Pretty Simple. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and make sure to hit subscribe, follow, like, and share it with a friend. See you guys next week.
Bye.